Rich people budget like they're broke. Broke people spend like they're rich. And that one sentence explains almost everything about why some people stay stuck for 20 years, while others quietly build wealth without ever looking wealthy. Welcome back to Kitaabi Raah, the channel where we break down the hidden psychology behind money, success, and human behavior. If you're new here, stay till the end, because what you're about to hear will change the way you look at every purchase you make. Let me show you something strange. A man walks into a car dealership, late 30s, worn shoes, drives an 8-year-old Honda. He pays $400,000 in cash for a house 2 weeks later. Nobody at that dealership would have guessed it. Now picture another man, same age, designer watch, new SUV, rents a luxury apartment he can technically afford. On paper, 6 months later, he's borrowing money from his brother. Here's the part that should bother you. If you saw both men on the street, you would have guessed their bank accounts backwards. That's not an accident. That's psychology. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. There's a concept researchers call identity spending. It means we don't spend money based on what we have. We spend money based on who we believe we are. If someone believes, deep down, I am the kind of person who struggles with money, they will unconsciously act in ways that keep that identity true, even when opportunities to change appear. And if someone believes, I am the kind of person who is becoming wealthy, they behave in ways that protect that future, even when they're not wealthy yet. This is why two people can earn the exact same salary and end up in completely different financial universes 10 years later. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Psychologists studying financial behavior notice something almost backwards. People with less money often spend more visibly, and people with more money often spend less visibly. Why would that happen? Because when you feel financially unstable, status becomes armor. A new phone, new shoes, a nice car, they're not just purchases, they're proof. Proof to yourself and to everyone watching that you're doing fine, that you haven't fallen behind. That's the emotional job those purchases are doing behind the scenes. But wealthy individuals, the ones who actually stay wealthy, don't need that proof. They already feel secure. So the psychological pressure to spend for validation quietly disappears. That's the trap. Broke isn't just a number in a bank account. Broke can be a feeling. And feelings drive behavior long before logic does. Let's go deeper, because there's a second layer to this. Ask a struggling person what they think about money, and you'll often hear something like this. Money changes people. Rich people are greedy. I don't care about money, I care about happiness. Sounds noble, sounds humble. But here's the twist. If you secretly believe money is dangerous, or that wanting more of it makes you a bad person, your brain will subtly sabotage your own progress. Not because you're lazy, not because you're incapable, but because some part of you is protecting your identity as a good person who isn't obsessed with money. Now flip it. Ask someone who quietly builds wealth what they think about money, and the answer is almost boring. It's a tool. It buys freedom. It's just resources. No emotional charge, no guilt, no drama. That emotional neutrality is the real advantage. Not intelligence, not luck, just the absence of internal conflict. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine two versions of yourself standing side by side. One of them flinches slightly every time the topic of money comes up. Salary talks feel awkward. Asking for a raise feels greedy. Talking about investing feels intimidating, maybe even shameful. The other version feels completely neutral. Numbers are just numbers. A price tag is just information, not a threat. Which version do you think ends up making better financial decisions? Under pressure, over decades. This is why financial education alone rarely works. You can teach someone how a Roth IRA works. You can explain compound interest until you're blue in the face. But if their emotional relationship with money is built on fear, shame, or self-worth issues, none of that information sticks. It just bounces off the identity underneath it. Let's talk about one more twist, because this one might sting a little. There's a habit almost every broke mindset shares, even high-income broke people. It's called lifestyle creep. Every time income goes up, spending quietly rises to match it. New house, new car, upgraded everything. And somehow, no matter how much more they earn, they still feel behind, still feel like they're one emergency away from disaster. Meanwhile, the wealthy mindset does something almost invisible. When income rises, spending stays flat or barely moves. The gap between what I earn and what I spend widens instead of staying the same. That gap, that quiet, boring gap, is where wealth actually gets built. Not from a lucky break, not from a secret investment tip, from a gap that keeps growing because someone's identity didn't need to expand every time their paycheck did. So, which one are you? Before you answer too quickly, here's the uncomfortable truth. Almost nobody thinks they're the broke mindset. Everyone believes they're being careful, being smart, being deserving. That's exactly how the pattern survives so long. It never announces itself. It just quietly repeats. So here's a question worth sitting with. Not how much do you earn? Not how much do you have saved? But this: when money enters your hands, does it make you feel safe enough to stay calm? Or does it make you feel like you finally have permission to prove something? Because that answer, more than your salary, more than your job title, more than your degree, is quietly deciding which future you're building. And the strangest part? You'll probably keep spending money exactly the same way tomorrow, unless you stop right now and ask yourself why. If this made you see money differently, you know where to come back. Kitaabi Raah.